Here at Ethereal Arts Studio, I'm an artist, you're an artist, we are all artists.
So, the colors that we'll need are blue, yellow, red, white, black, and brown. Here I have a number 12 flat brush. Anything that you have around that size will do. I washed it and dry it really well. And then I'm going to start with some brown. And I'm going to use a little bit of white to try to get the complexion of the actor who is in the scene that we're painting. After I get this tan tone, I start painting a basic outline of half of her face. So now let's paint inside of the face. So I'm going to use a bigger brush just for time's sake. Here I have a much bigger brush. It's a 3/4 of an inch flat brush. Wash it and dry it really well. Then use the same tone to fill in all of this space. And by the way, my name is Juan Scribe. For those that are here the first time, and for those that are returning, welcome back. So now let's use brown by itself, regular brown, to paint the neck over here. We need it to be darker because there's shadow there. That's why we're using brown by itself. I didn't wash the brush or anything. It's fine if it mixes a little bit with the color. So I use that to apply brown. Now, let's paint some of her hair. Again, I'm not going to wash the brush. In fact, if it mixes with a little bit of brown, that's even better. Her hair is brown, but it looks very dark against the light. So now let's use black with the same brush. Here I have a 3/4 of an inch flat brush, the same one I used to paint the inside of the face. That's what I'm using to just add all this hair. So after this step, we'll finally wash the brush. Make sure you dry it really well, and then let's paint this background red. So the film, I watched it yesterday. I loved it so much that I knew I had to make a video to it, and here it is. We're gonna make a video that pays homage to the film, which is directed by Parker Finn and starring Sosie Bacon, the daughter of Kyra Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon. Okay, so now let's go back to a smaller brush. Here I have a number 12 flat brush, the one I used to make the outline of the face. I'm gonna mix a little bit of yellow with some brown. This is to add some highlights to the hair. At first it might blend a little bit with the black that is already there because the black paint has not totally dried. That's fine, we'll add more highlights later, but let's just establish some color there. So now here I have an even smaller brush. This is a number 4 flat brush. And with that, I'm gonna use some black paint. Could add a little bit of brown to it. It's still gonna be very dark. This is to start adding some of the features. So let's start with the eye over here. It's simply a rainbow curved line that we can add a little bit here to the end to make it more realistic. Then the bottom part that corresponds with it, which is basically a smile curved line. There is the nose over here, which is very simple. We're not adding too many details to it. It's just a line that curves, as you can see down there, to the point. Now let's wash the brush and dry it really well. Let's mix a little bit of red with some brown to make the colors of the lips. So this picture is gonna look like something from out of Batman. It's gonna be like the Joker's models from Batman 1989, and that's what we're going for. We're going for the creepiness factor. The film is creepy and it is unsettling, and that is exactly the look we are going for. So now let's paint the eye. Let's mix white and just a tiny corner of the brush of black to make a gray color for the eye, the white part of the eye. And now for the teeth. Let's use the same mixture right here. Let's add just a tiny bit of yellow and a little bit more white to make an off-white color, and add that to the inside of the mouth. And after we add that, let's make a lighter shade of the brown that we used to paint her face. Let's make a lighter shade by adding more white to it. And this we're gonna use to add light all around different areas of her face. So we add it, apply it like this, and then you blur it simply by going over the edges many times. This will add to the realism combined with some shadows that we'll add afterward. And once again, we have to just make sure that we blur it by going over the edges or the outer parts of these patches many times. Okay, so now for the opposite, okay? Let's add some shadows now. So we could take brown and add a little bit of white to it. Just make sure it's not too much on the brush. Start dabbing it on. Applying it over the eye in different areas, as you'll see. So we can start bringing the painting to life, which is inspired by the performance by Caitlin Stacy. And now let's use brown by itself. It's darker, so we use that to add some shadows that are stronger. And by the way, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We have tutorials like this based on many horror films like The Exorcist and Alien, The Shining, Carrie, Scream, the Halloween franchise, and many more. So here, I'm gonna add some brown again. This is adding more shadow to the neck underneath. And now let's go for a very dark brown, almost black. And with this, let's close the eye a little bit, make it more realistic. And also with the same dark brown, let's add the iris. Here I'm using some black by itself to add the eyebrow, and also add a little bit to the side of her head here, where you'll see I'm going to add some more hair right here. Then I'll go back to some dark brown, wash and dry the brush really well, go back to some dark brown to add and pronounce some of these shadows a bit more. Now let's go for an even smaller brush if you have one. Here I have a detail brush. I'm gonna make pink, basically just red and a little bit of white to make a pink that I could add over here again for some of those details that add realism. Just a tiny bit of pink where the inside of the eye is. So for the teeth, we actually are going to make a maroon. We need a maroon. So red and some black to make it darker. And we're not actually going to outline like the whole part of every tooth. We're just going to pronounce just the tops, the gum lines, the gum basically, the gums. And the bottom ones that correspond, just two down there. Now, I am going to use dark brown here to kind of got rid of some of the teeth back there, and just gave a little bit of added a little bit of shadow to the inside of the lip too. Right here, I'm gonna make the bottom lip a little bit thicker, so any way that you want to enhance your painting or make anything, you know, different or your own, feel free to. So use your detail brush to add some white light hitting the eye. So the character had on a yellow and blue plaid shirt, so I'm just going to add some hints of yellow and blue down here to indicate her shirt. Just some more highlights. Let's add those. We could add a little bit of white to it to make them even brighter. After that, let's double up on the red background. Let's add another layer of red paint. And here I'm gonna make the mouth just a little bit more closed. So I'm gonna close it from the bottom part a little bit. Then I'm gonna make some pink. We need some pink. Let's add it to the bottom lip to add some light hitting the bottom lip. Let's add a couple of little cuts or scrapes that she has here on her face. And after this, feel free to sign or initial your painting, write any message on it, gift it to anyone. They make great gifts, or hang it up in your favorite room. Thanks so much for watching. All our information is in the description section. Check out etherealartsstudio.com and check out our Etsy store where all our artwork is available.